Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Um, Talk about a couple of issues. Talking to KGM. He's doing a bill at the moment. And he said he couldn't put his upright shock brace on with the RC Taylor. Okay. Yes, you can put it on. He was saying that only goes on the Taylor uprights. Let's just see if it fits on that. No, she'll go on the standard type of aftermarket billet Chinese ones. And this video is just to show, yes, it will go on. Okay, so on the 5B, I got the normal type of one. This one, because I don't run the cage, allows me to run full travel without any binding with the dog bones. Okay. Yeah, so the only difference is you will have to run a longer bolt in this, in this area here. You'll have to cut one down. Okay, to fit in that section there. Yes, it will go on. I do have the other type, same as on the 5T. Okay, I can't mount that on this one because of the roll cage. But I brought this one as a spare, just in case I go the same route what I've done on the 5T or make it into a 5T. But more or less I kept it a 5B. So Kyle, yes, it will go on. I don't know what you mean as to throw the shocks out. You said you brought some Kraken and standard arms. I did a measurement, so you can check on yours. I'll send it on Taylor website. It's supposed to be the same length as the FLM arms. So the measurement I got, if you check between that pin there, that pin there to the other pin on the outside, should be 167 millimeters. Okay, if it's less than that, they're not the proper 2-inch overall longer wheelbase on the rear. So that's what I have seen advertised as 2-inch. Okay, so if your dog bones are not fitting up right, it doesn't look right. Obviously, they're not 2-inch. So that's the measurement on the FLM arms. They're 167 from the inside pin hinge to the outside pin hinge. That way, that should clarify that problem what you're having. Yeah, check on that. So I was looking to set for myself on a third barger, just do on the cheaper side. But anyway, all good. Anyway, guys, I finally made 4-wheel adapters for these 6.5-inch Rovan rooms. A lot of fiddling around. Two properly made. Actually, I made 4 up, but these ones are a little bit tight here a tad. I've just got to fix them up a bit. So basically, I've just got to drill and tap the outside. How many holes? There's 5. And drill a hole for, let's see, for the pin, which is a 5mm, and do a groove on that so I can put an O-ring. Okay, so yeah, it all come together. Yeah, I'm looking forward to running this when I get the time. I mentioned last time last video about your outboard hubs, okay, and when they wear out, this is another thing you can use them for. I actually got one of them, cut it down, and they go on the front so that you can run the pin, and you got the screw in there to lock that pin in. Okay. Yeah, because just a pin and no ring, it's not good enough. You got to run a screw inside to stop that pin coming out. So the only difference is you got to run I figure 1 mil, 1.5 mil spacer, and that. These I've got to drill out to 5 mil. This is only a 4 mil standard pin. Okay, yeah, we're good on that. So there's another reason is don't throw them out, put them in a lathe, shine them down, put them on the front. Because you find the Chinese ones, they don't have the screw in it, and you just have a pin, you find you're undersized on that shaft there. Right, and you've got so much slop, you have to shim it up with shim paper. Alright, so there you go. Yeah, so yeah, virtually nearly finished this. I like to sort of go through everything blueprinted. So yeah, I don't have a problem all day when I take it for a run. Yes, I know the engine runs well. I don't really have to run in. I've done a lot of running time on the stand and that. Probably just run it rich on the first run or the first tank, and then hit it full ball. Okay, so yeah, 5T is nearly done. So basically it was just to set these wheels up. The 6.5 inch, you can buy 6-inch ones of these versions, but only come out blue or silver. Okay, I just bought this for the looks. Yeah, so apart from that, no, it's all good there. Now, my 5T, nearly getting there. Let's just see. And the only thing I got left, well, there's a few things I've got to do. The wheelie bar set up with the stainless steel. I've actually got to text out, and I actually got to take it to work and mill that section out to be able to be roll cage in and put the pin in it. Yeah, so I didn't think of that, but anyway, that's got to be done. So basically all I've got left, as you see, take it off. I've never run it since I bought it. It's only done 10-minute running time. Previous owner, it's a 71cc Supreme. Yeah, so she's got some heat cycles to do yet before anything, and then I'm going to run it in. Only thing I've got left is do the shocks. Just hang on a moment. Back again. Alright, so yeah, all I've got to do on this is machine the shocks on the adjuster and the bottom perch to put the heavy duty springs in. That's right, take out that 3-piece gearbox. It's a Chinese one. I've got a Taylor one to go in, and I'll put in a titanium lay shaft in. There's a little bit of binding on this in one spot, so I'm not sure. Like if you do a couple of runs, mate, that problem's gone. So I'll put the Taylor 3-piece gearbox in, put the heavy duty bearings in, put the titanium lay shaft in it. At the moment it's got a stainless steel one. That way, because this one I had to do a bit of clearance to get this motor in with this gearbox. Okay, so yeah, no, all looking good. Yeah, no, we're getting there. Okay, so not a great lot. It'll start as it is and that type of thing. Really close with the fuel tank where your cap is. People have this problem. Yeah, so I can undo the lid on this one, and that other people have a bit of issue on that type of thing. Apart from that, yes, we'll get there. Waiting on the hex bar, rod to make up the new turnbuckles like I did on the 71. I do have a length of somewhere, I don't know where I put it. I brought another two, only one coming to mail, and the other guy's made a mistake, so the other one's coming out. So, all good on there. Right, so while we're on the subject, notice the old V2 bicycle reeds come up back on YouTube. Okay, yeah. Nice. I was running this before. I had the issue. It turned out to be the chamber on the billet head. I ended up putting, let's see, this is what I put in. This is ALX with the factories. They make these reed box. Okay, it's carbon reeds. Has limiters on it. Stop your reeds overstretching. Okay, so yeah. So anyway, go back to the V2 reeds. So some people are using them again. Now, the only issue with these, right guys, I'll just show you this one here. I did a bit different to other people. Actually, I'll countersink mine and countersink bolts on these. Okay, so that way I don't have fuel getting disturbed in them and it flows straight into the cylinder. Okay, bit of JB weld on there. Right, your pulse line. No, it's real easy, guys. Your old carburetor line around you're not using. I take the plastic pieces off, drill a hole, then epoxy. Same as what I do on the carburetor. So yeah, you don't need to put big fancy lines and all that sort of stuff. Just bigger stuff is just creates more problems anyway. Everyone to themselves on that. Whatever works, it works. But that's what I use. I just use the carburetor once. Okay, one on the inlet side and one on the carburetor. Anyway, come back to the V2 bicycle reed. Now, done a lot of, there's a lot of YouTube stuff out there. There's a couple of blokes that muck around bicycle those motors all the time. Fully recommended to put a limiter thing. What you will find is, especially on the 70cc, you know, on a 45, you're not going to have that problem. But because you've got more pressure in there, what you find is that your reeds won't fully close when they're at full power, so you get fluttering happening up top end, which your reeds are not coming back closing at all. Okay, so you need to put that set up on here to stop your reeds over travelling. Okay, so that's what I got on there. Plus I found a replacement metal one, because these are plastic. Alright, I brought it off Gumtree, not Gumtree, eBay. Only about $8 or something like that. Aluminium block one. Don't ask me I can't remember what it was out of. Looked about right. Now, they come with metal ones on them. That's where these come from. They come on with this reed block. Now, the only thing I've got to do on that spot there's JB welded. Okay. So when I put it into in here, everything lines up and everything will seal. Okay, so yeah, the metal ones is far better than plastic. Plastic will deteriorate after a while. What you find, the gaskets that come with these V2, you get fuel on them, you take them out, they're twice the size what they were in the first place, and you got to let them dry out to the shrink back to normal. So you got to make your own gaskets really to stop that problem. The other problem what you have if you're using a 71cc motor, say a 5B, when the carburetor comes out, you're right on top of the fuel tank where the fuel lines are, and it'll interfere. So basically what I done, I made it out of aluminium, I milled it out, it's got an angle. Okay, so that brings the carburetor a bit more up the air, and brings it away from the fuel tank on the fuel lines, so have no interference. Anyway, so yeah, it worked all right. The problems when I worked out it was the cylinder head. Ended up putting the proper Italian ones in. It worked better, but still had the problem. Worked out it was the CC on the chamber on the head. Okay, just hang on a moment. I'll give you an explanation. Okay, so here's the billet head. So the chamber on that, it is too small for us 71cc, so I had to put machine it out more. Still had more compression than the original head itself. Just machine another step in it, and that way you'll get your fuel air up and into that chamber. It'll burn. Where before it was over fueling, it could not get in there. That's why it wouldn't run clean. Yeah, that was the problem solved. So running high compression heads, look, you got to have a happy in between. Put more compression actually gives you more torque, doesn't give you more revs. Okay, so you got to have a happy in between low and high compression to allow for revs and torque. Right, so machine having a small chamber only gives you more torque, but it's get it to run clean up top. The other way you could do it is advance the timing by 2 degrees, get it to fire earlier. That'll work. So realistic, if you want to fine tune, you've watched two-stroke stuffing. It's one of my favourite YouTube channels. That guy knows everything. He does all his own stuff. He has the fastest 50cc two-stroke in the world type of thing, and he mucks around with turbos, supercharged. He makes his own motors. He's brilliant, mate. He's awesome bloke to do. Guys, if you haven't seen his videos, you need to watch them all. You'll learn something. Right, that's about it, guys. Just to give you an update. Just got to cut out the body shell now for the 5T. I did one on the other shell. I don't know what it does, so I know exactly what I'm going to cut out to put that shell on. So basically, all I'm going to do is tap the hubs. Did a pin on the hub to hold the hubs on. Cut the bolts that actually goes in there. The longer ones, and you just got to cut them down shorter so you get a. So here we are. So it goes to thread there. That's basically all I've got left to do. I'll probably end up making another wheelie bar system for the other one. I don't really like the one I brought for the 5T because there's a lot of weight. Now, going back to shock brace on 5B, the only difference from that one and to the 5T one. Now the 5T one, that type of setup does allow you to put the cage on, be able to clear the section there. There's not much difference there. The difference is from the 5B to the 5T, I have to run limit straps on this because of the position where the shock mounts to this shock brace. Where the other one, 5B, sits up higher, slightly higher, and out a bit, and allows me on the FLM arms to run full straight, full length, using the outside hole on the FLM arms, and I don't get any dog bone binding or anything like that. I've got movement, so that's all good, because you don't want any binding there, or else that's going to cause some real big problems. Okay, so yeah, with the other one, I've got limit straps. I am going to take these limit straps. The only way to fix this problem, same as with 5T front, I can't use the full length of the shocks in front on a 10mm, because the way the cage and 5T is set up, you can only mount your shocks in that area there, so it just clears the cage. That's the only problem. Now, to fix that problem would be, you pull the shaft out underneath the piston, you put a spacer in there, work out what length of space you've got to do, is how much, so that position there, put a texture mark. Then when you undo it, when it goes full length, you measure on the shaft from that texture mark how much it is, and then you need a strong nylon spacer. It'll sit underneath the piston, okay, off the shock. That allows you to only travel X amount. Same as on the rear, and do the same thing. Just put a nylon machine one up, spacer inside the body on the shaft, and get rid of the limit straps. Alright, that way I'm not over travelling on the rear, and same as on the front type of thing. So that's one way of getting around it. Alright, that's what they do in motocross bikes. They do the same thing. So, you know, little bikes are pretty tall these days. I had one, and yeah, I had to get my shocks modified so bikes sit down lower, and that's what they do. They just rebush it, sits down further, so you're comfortable when you're riding it. So anyway guys, that's it. Talk to you next time. I'm out.